themselves to take it. Now, Baxia is kind of a counter to the Kimi, so if there's any hero that Team Malaysia would want to contest at this
Kita
point, that
lanjut
would be
guys.
it.
Game
Can
ketiga
actually just take him
antara
out for themselves
Argentina
if unless
versus
that is
Malaysia.
something that actually
Jangan
Argentina is
lupa di
already reading
subscribe
between
guys.
the lines. But it seems that
Di
they're going
like
to
juga
actually
itu
take
ya.
out the mid lane instead with Lunox
First
shut
pick
him
drop
down. And
Argentina.
seems like there is
Hero
a
yang
lot of
juga
viable options
Lancelot,
still left, even
Alice,
though the
Jusin,
meta-wise can actually just seclude it to
Gatot Kaca,
Barca at the
Iesf,
moment right now. But
Raider,
then again,
Lunox.
I kind of feel like right now Argentina has not much of an option. Your team
Okay,
is
Ruby gonna be the final
Ruby
ban here.
again.
This is a hero that many of us agreed should have been picked up by Team Malaysia during Game 2, but they passed it up and allowed it to go over to the side of Team Argentina, and they managed to perform quite admirably with it. Since Team Malaysia still has the rubric of a potential double fighter side lane, they're just gonna take that off the pool alongside the CC that was banned earlier, and that'll limit the number of solid fighter gold laners. In fact, I'm pretty sure the reason Team Argentina went for this carry is because it is one of the few marksmen that is able to 1v1 fighter gold lanes, but just to be sure, they're gonna take out the most effective ones.
Let's see. The fact that I know for a fact teams from Argentina or other teams that we have seen that Hayabusa been picked up right here as a backline can actually have a diving composition from Team Malaysia itself. But when it comes to the usage of carry, right, I do kind of feel a little bit of worry for the position of Argentina. Damage-wise, I'm not gonna doubt it, but mobility-wise, off carry can be sometimes having a problem to move around as quickly as possible, even with Phantom Step on her hand. But on the other note, since I told already, because of the fact that there's a little slightly pull of the mid laner, Farsa is the only option for Argentina to pick up, but they picked up Suyo as well, and we've seen how Suyo is very, very well known, very quickly adaptable inside the hands of Argentina.
And Team Argentina going back to the basics here, which makes a lot of sense. You want to keep it comfortable, you want to keep it natural, since this is going to be a best of one now, effectively, to decide which of these two teams actually gets the chance to move on to the lower bracket semis. Now, Farsa is a bit risky here because we've already seen how easy it is for Hayabusa to farm kills off of this hero, which means that Naval is going to need to play this very safely. Otherwise, it should be absolutely fine as long as they're able to scale up into the mid game. For Team Malaysia, final pick. What is it going to be? It's the Moskov going back to the marksman v marksman meta.
Oh, interesting. 2 rounds we have been seeing the double fighter lane on the side, but now finally dropping off both of the strategy and changing things up for the best of one. This is definitely intense from both sides of the drafting. Again, we talked about how there's only one chance left for these two teams. Is either they go front or they say goodbye to WEC.
Both teams are aware of the stakes, and so both teams have elected to go back to basics, a traditional Mlbb lineup. Marksman late game scaling with solid fighters as well as farming gold as well as mid laners. That means that we're not going to see a lot of action happening in the first couple of minutes. We should be looking at more default team fights once the mid game rolls around. But whichever side is able to get an early game snowball will have a lot more advantage heading on into the later stages.
Agree, and the fact that right now this is about discipline. So far, both of the teams have shown a little bit slight delay for themselves, but can they make a difference here for the last round of lower bracket quarterfinals? Give it up for Team Malaysia versus Argentina!
This is gonna be an intense one, ladies and gentlemen. So far, both these teams have proven to be worthy competitors. We've dragged out both of the previous games to 20 minutes plus. Will it happen for a third time? Will this finally be the one-sided sweep that a team has been looking for? Or will they show that both have a competitor spirit?
A little bit of the invasion comes through. They try to tease a pick right here on the mid lane. Yuki finding a breakaway, but at the same time miss with the Grog, and we've seen so far using that Grog to make a way and divide to make sure that Malaysia at least does not come into contact. This is where Argentina find a baseline for them to have a safe gap between each other.
Absolutely. Argentina actually has a pretty okay early game since they are playing with a Suyo Farsa Grok. So that means they're actually the ones that might be able to make things happen on the map a little bit earlier if they want to play a bit more aggressively. as long as they avoid losing out too much in mid lane trains to this Kimmy, they should be able to start roaming to the sides and affecting the EXP lane ideally to get Neo unlocked.
The fact that right now we are seeing every movement that has been spotted out by Team Malaysia, they are be able to counter out. Movement coming in from Farfao, even though, yeah, there is going to be a back and forth between Riza and Farfao, they might be able to contain that on their own lane. The question is, how they're going to actually pick up right after the turtle spawn out.
That is the question, isn't it? Looks like Team Malaysia is going to be in position first over the turtle, but Team Argentina is not too far behind. In fact, they're trying to speed clear the EXP lane, make sure that everyone will be able to participate.
Farther side has been open, doesn't catch anyone though. Even with the Earthen Rapim, it doesn't actually caught off guard by Team Malaysia. So now they're just stepping around, scattering so that Team Argentina cannot catch them like that. So this is actually a really good composition coming in from Team Malaysia, twisting even more the area of the turtle pit. But somehow Argentina, they're already ready. Earthen Rapim put out, goes in for a fight. Miyuki takes down the turtle in the hands first, but at the same time, Tectonic Charge comes through, and now with the Mighty Swing, doesn't get the kill though, but now Shao once more. Rina takes down Miyuki first of all for the first blood.
Looks like it's gonna be a turtle traded for the jungler. Doesn't look like they're interested in chasing Miz for too far longer, so that ends up being kind of an okay trade for both sides here. Team Malaysia should be quite satisfied with being able to get a pickoff on Miyuki, because we all know that Suyo is a hero that gains more momentum the more effectively he's able to be played in the early stages. If they can stifle that a little bit, it should feel a little better moving on into the next couple minutes.
See if this is going to be a good position coming out. Again, trying to make sure that they can have so much of the resources being used up first, and then they can actually counter-attack Argentina. This is a strategy that we are seeing from the side of Team Malaysia, but somehow, if they make a slight mistake, that could be also a case of issue for the team of Malaysia.
Yeah, both these teams are well aware now that they have to be very discreet, very careful, very deliberate with their movements. Single mistake here could cost them the entire tournament, and neither wants to go home at this stage. They're so close to being able to make it to the top 4 once again. Next turtle's gonna be up in another 40 seconds, so we'll have a little bit of a moment to exchange.
Russian Pulse pulled out. Fighter X-Side has been win, but doesn't actually give a lot of leeway right here. At the same time, Rina takes down Miz for the second kill, but it is a really good move coming up from Team Malaysia.
Yeah, good catch right there, realizing that Miz is not going to be able to retreat back, and the rest of Team Argentina is not close enough to give her assistance as well. Even giving the assist to Farfao, thanks to landing that Spear of Destruction, means that this Moskov is able to start getting a little bit more farm.
The fact that right now we are seeing Team Malaysia pressuring Argentina one after 2 times, making sure that at least they do not have the freedom to move around. And this is what we need from Team Malaysia. Slow things down, making sure that Argentina doesn't get the resources they needed. Somehow right here we are seeing that Farfao and Riza, they might actually continue on to give more pressure. Neville comes in. Little bit of pressure comes through as well with the Federer X-Strike, but here Mighty Swing comes in. It's going to be last hit where Miz just down Farfao.
There's no way Farfao is getting out of that. It's a 3v1 situation, so Team Malaysia is going to try and trade for the turtle in exchange. Really nice Landshaker there, should be able to guarantee it since they know the rest of Team Argentina is not nearby.
Great swipe comes in, Cha takes down Miyuki. Another one, Neo try to survive it out, but the Glory Pathway denies it immediately. Now Neo just trying to survive under the turret, but Team Malaysia will do what it takes to just steal it out from the team of Argentina.
A really good sequence of events. It's unfortunate that Team Malaysia weren't able to get the kill on Neo there. Really well played by the Arlet to be able to avoid the 3v1 situation, but they are able to trade effectively.
Does get for the Tectonic Charge, but Shah will be able to move away safely. Not much of a casualty so far, but since we are seeing that Malaysia is up ahead just a little, it's still not going to be enough though, with the economy-wise has less gap now.
Yeah, even though Team Malaysia has been able to get good trades overall in terms of kills, the farm is actually very slightly in favor of Team Argentina currently. I imagine a lot of that is going to be on Riza with this carry, since he's been able to... Oh, hold on.
Hold on, Federer has been open right here. Shah all alone defending the bottom turret, but doesn't get the kill. Somehow, the 3-man versus 1 doesn't manage to actually get the kill. And now making over to the side of Milan. But Repair been put out right here, trying to survive it out. But Riza comes in with the Farfao, goes out. Unfortunately, just enough to actually just hold off the position.
It's lucky that Riza was able to put that spinning light wheel in between. Otherwise, Farfao would have been able to just full diver at this point. Team Argentina got to play a little bit more careful. at least they're able to preserve their tier 1 mid. I do like the aggression that we are seeing right now from Team Malaysia, despite the fact that they should have a better late game scaling composition. They don't want to have to wait until that point in time. They're aware if they can get a snowball started, then it'll look a lot better for them. Team Argentina needs to have a little bit more initiative in moving across the map. They're playing very reactively to the speedy aggression of Team Malaysia right now. And considering they're the ones with the Grok and Farsa, they need to be the ones finding targets across the map.
And the fact that right now, opening up the Feather Airstrike just to clear out the median wave, this is somehow trying to actually be in control by the area of Team Malaysia. Going to get the third turtle in the hands. A Terapan being put out right here. Tectonic charge comes in, but it's going to be Miyuki with the steal of the turtle. And pushing on right now, Shah want to go in, but unfortunately that final slash comes through. Riza takes down Shah, but will be taken out by Farfa instead for the trade.
Farfa now in a little bit of trouble, bit of sticky spot. Revitalize comes out though, and the fight is continuing.
They're going out. Miyuki shuts down Honey instead. Feather side has been opened. Stun it out immediately with Mars being shut down. And now Farfa also faltered to the ground of Argentina. And now getting only not 3, but 4 players of Malaysia in their hands.
I really feel like that was a fight that didn't need to be forced right here. And now even Rina in some trouble, trying to go for the kill. Doesn't have the energy though. Oh, that...
Whoa!
This is very awkward right now.
This is awkward, definitely, especially with that last hit. Seems that Nival,
What?
hit the
Boleh, boleh,
wall,
boleh.
Rina! Okay, trying to go in with the quad shadow, but misses out that Feather side, but still gotta help from Shah there. Whew, that was a close call.
That was a...
Oh, and even the SOD doesn't even land it off.
That was a very interesting sequence of events right there. But what I was saying is, that really should not have been a fight that Team Malaysia wanted to force. Again, they are the better late game composition, and that fight already started with things not really going in their way. Pavo also very hard dive to get the kill on Riza, which is understandable, but the rest of the team is not close enough to properly back her up. You are playing on a marksman right now. Compared to a fighter, you need to be a little bit more careful with your life.
And the fact that right now, Team Malaysia, a little bit more losing ends, knowing for a fact that they started out really good to actually equalize the numbers of kills, but economy-wise still, the resources still in the hands of Team Argentina with 1.8k plus. So this is going to be a little bit tough. Finding a way out from this situation is not going to be easy.
Yeah. Team Argentina now have been able to reverse the state a little bit. They're the ones holding on to that slight goal lead. And this is kind of the expected situation due to the way their draft works. But it kind of happened because Team Malaysia made that miscall of going for the full dive there when they are playing the double marksman late game composition. Gotta be a little bit more decisive with those movements and decide if it is worth it or not. Team Argentina now are going to be able to play it a lot safer. It is around the mid-game phase. They've got a strong team fight back, front-to-back composition, which means that Team Malaysia is going to need to start committing to a bit of macro play, which they can afford to do since Pao Pao is on that Moscow.
Oh, definitely. So let's see with them trying to do a little bit of switch move down at the top lane, and somehow they are going in for the dance lot. Gloria Path have been put out. Miyuki takes the lot instead, but at the same time, they managed to actually shut down Shah in the midst of it. Honey shuts down Miyuki for the trades, but Yuki, unfortunately, will be tagged out by Naval, and Honey barely surviving. But here on out, there is a steal coming up from Fafao, but unfortunately, there will not be any commitment for that top turret.
But that was a lot of damage being done to the inhibitor there. It is unfortunate to lose Shah and Yuki, but in exchange for inhibitor damage this early into the game, it's not actually that bad. Looks like they'll actually keep their tier 1 mid alive as well. So Team Malaysia does kind of come out on top in that situation. So far though, Rina having a bit of trouble hitting that retribution timing thanks to the threat of this tectonic charge. They need to do a better job of keeping Miz in check.
And going in for the shadow kills, goes for one Riza. Riza will be able to take it down, even with the final slash, does not able to shut down Rina.
Yeah, that was unlucky for Riza. If a couple more hits had been shared by the jungle camp instead, might have survived that.
Coming in for Naval as well. Bravest Fighter comes through, able to take down Naval ability by Shah. And now, Gloria Parve has been put out right here. Yuki says, let's go for Miz as well. But Oda Rapid to be put out to divide themselves.
A nice escort there from Yuki to make sure that Shah is able to get out of that as well. Team Malaysia finding a little bit more control over the map currently. And since they always have this macro play on the Moscow...
Oh, but comes in for a fight, but the shadow kill comes in, and Miyuki will be taken out by Rina.
That was a a bit of an overestimation from Miyuki there. I can understand trying to go for a cheeky pickup, but that is a Hayabusa. If you do not one-shot the hero and you're alone, you are going to get Ogi shadow killed and eat the entirety of the damage.
Mungkin biasanya kayak gitu langsung mati
reflex
guys.
as well as the counter attack comes in
Tapi
from
mati,
Team
Cok.
Malaysia. Even with the sneaky attack that's already been set up by Argentina, now Team Malaysia getting
Iya,
more
udah nggak
firmly
bisa
on the ground to make sure that
kemana-mana,
Argentina
coy, kan?
doesn't step ahead.
Looking at the itemization, Fao now slightly ahead of Riza, already completed the Wind of Nature. So she did rush through the boots as well. So that is probably where some of the difference lies. When we're looking at the rest of the players, builds are progressing pretty normally too. Ooh, aggression.
Lower pathway comes through. Right now, Rina just
Ih,
with the
ada
last
ulti
hit, but
kah?
never managed to actually fly away, surviving all of the stuns. But SOD comes in. Does it hit? No! It misses out just barely on that
Padahal udah
angle.
kembus ya.
That was close. If that were me, I would have seen my life flash before my eyes for a moment there. But good on the Valve, being able to use that one singular tick of regen to survive the lethal ignition damage. The Team Argentina still keeping their wits about them. Now the goal difference is
Lihat.
negligible. It's basically nothing.
15 detik.
Team Malaysia and Argentina both at an even
Yeah.
slate. Late game scaling is going to be slightly in favor of Team Malaysia since the later the game goes, the
Ini
less
semua
value
stopnya
Suyo is going to be able to
terjalankan lem,
provide.
guys.
The fact that right now survivability is all what it takes for the Team Argentina to get it through right now to fight with Team Malaysia.
Tapi ditunggu
Lord
ya sama
Dance
carry-nya.
going to start already between Team Malaysia and Neo is giving all the impulses needed. Miss, if she can find an opening with the tectonic charge, it could be a way for the team of Argentina to just come through with the setup.
Ya
So
tuh.
far right now,
Bingung
Team
deh, se
Argentina
Argentina
trying to
bingung.
find a way, trying to compose themselves. Which side can
Karena
they
kalau
actually
nggak
go
di
to? Rina
cover
on
tuh,
the side right here will not
hancur
be
deh
able to
semuanya
catch
nih.
easily.
I feel like Team
Farsa
Argentina should
turun.
consider sending the Farsa along with one other person to the top
Saatnya
lane just to catch off
Kita
Fao.
lot kawan.
They're not really doing so. They're aiming for more defensive play instead. But if they can take this Moskov out even before the fight starts, it would actually be quite
Moskov kan bisa
valuable for Team
join ya
Argentina.
dari
And it seems that they
ultimate
also
nanti.
divided out Neo right at the mid, so they can actually have a good composition for that Lord Dance. But again, they're not really
Farsanya turun
overcommitting, so this is a
lagi.
really good discipline coming from both of this country.
So far, Fao still doing exactly the job this Moskov was picked for.
Bisa sih
If
tuh kalau
Team
mau
Malaysia
hajar
can
Farsanya.
constantly split the attention span of Team
Oh, Mbak,
Argentina,
mati.
then they will have a lot more
Aku udah
advantage
pakai
over
turret.
the Lord. But it is still risky. Ooh,
Ooh, Yuki
Hop,
open up the
kena
glory pathway,
soalnya,
will
guys.
take it out by Riza instead. But at this moment right now, they're trying to go in for the shadow kill. Does it manage to go through? Better start, open it up, but Honey takes down Riza first of all, goes into the backline. Now Rina will be able to take down that ball for the top. And now moving on, Neo will be shadow wiped out by Honey and giving it an opportunity for this lot to be taken by Team Malaysia.
Hani was 100% the MVP of that fight. A beautiful traction pulse that actually lined up 3 members of Team Argentina to be skewered by the Moskov.
Oh.
Able to join the fight through the Spear of Destruction, picking up 4 members as well as the Lord. That is the defining team might moment that Team Malaysia has been looking for. They're going to be able to get basically every outer tower with this. Team Argentina will be able to respawn for the Lord defense, but that was a huge blow.
That was a really clean pursuit coming in from the side of Team Malaysia. But now, with the lot
Tapi masih
pushing in,
bisa
the
sih, guys,
defense that we
guys.
saw from Team Argentina is
Bisa,
not so bad as
masih
well.
bisa
So if
bertahan.
they can actually pull it together again for this defense, it might actually have a neutralization for them to just breathe a little bit. If that is the case, if Team Malaysia
Tapi kalau
allows it,
bisa
comes
ambil
in with the glory
carry-nya sih.
pathway, and the rest side has already been open, but turret is already out, and it's going to be open for them to go in. Dive composition
Nggak
comes through,
dikasih.
but at the same time, Private Spider doesn't get
sama Grok.
anyone, but unfortunately, the team of Argentina can still be manageable to actually have a potential to shut down this lot. But coming on right now, all the turrets has already been down, they've been put out, no tectonic charge to actually just get a setup. So this is just Argentina saying that slow down, go back to the ground.
That was a clean assault there from Team Malaysia, not focusing too hard on taking the crystal since they know that Team Argentina's
Tiga
time
dah.
formation is going to be difficult to break
Hancur
through.
semua.
Instead, targeting all the inhibitors. They're still staying though. I'm not too sure if you want to force a fight here.
Glory pathway has been put out right here. Yuki goes in for a fight. Federer side has been opened, but Shadow kills right now. To Nivol, Nivol flies away to the fountain, but Reza gets shot immediately. This is going to be unnecessary in the end, going to be a
Aduh,
second one.
Moskov
Mabar
lagi.
runs away for
Ish.
dear life, but at least they managed to go in now. Rina, once more, it seems that they want to push into Miss, but somehow it's going to be one casualty for their loss.
And my concerns were immediately founded. There's a reason why teams don't usually try and force into the base just like that. You will usually need to wait for another Lord. Team Malaysia tried their luck, and it is lucky for them that the only person they lost there was the Lapu Lapu, because Fafau nearly died as well, and that would have actually made a big difference here. But they have stripped the base bare. There is going to be another Lord coming up in 45 seconds. As long as Team Malaysia is able to secure that, they should be able to take this victory. Whereas for the side of Team Argentina, they definitely have the damage. They just need to be able to land it on the correct targets.
Let's see, with this lot coming up, 30 seconds on the clock. Team Malaysia have too much desperation leaking out of them, and this is where the fine line that they can't always. But here, Traction Pulse come through. Naval unfortunately was tagged off. Glory Pathway doesn't get anyone, but here Shah comes in with the bravest fighter, goes in. Neo tried to survive it out with the final slash, but SOD comes in. Do we go in? No, they don't actually goes out, but at least Yuki managed to take down Neo, so that's gonna be 2 plays at least in the hands of Malaysia.
Ooh, that is a pretty big mistake right there, though, from Team Argentina. Losing 2 members right before the Lord spawns means that there is 0 chance of contesting it. And since their base is empty, they actually needed to try and contest this away, or at least delay the take. Because now it's going to be very simple for Team Malaysia. You just push straight in, you have a marksman. As long as the Lord is on top of the crystal, they should be able to close this out.
They may be able to close this out, knowing for a fact that that was a really good mistake coming in from Team Argentina that they can actually utilize. But again, looking at how defensive Argentina was, they might maybe able to actually hold out just a little bit, unless they cannot actually falter to see where does the line goes, because Rina somehow has been untouchable with 505. Even Fafau barely coming alive, but still able to survive it all out. So let's see. Coming into the Lord March right here as they push all the minions out. They go in for the Urchin Rapid to deny any entrance as well. You gotta pay the tax if you want to go in, but unfortunately comes in with a swipe. Glory Private comes through. Try to kill with a better asset also has been opened, but it doesn't matter because Rider Face have been able to take down Miz as well. Now coming in right now, Papa goes in over the death way. She will be able to be taken down by Visa as well. And in the midst of it all, Crystal comes into the hands of Malaysia. So that means they stay in WEC 2025.
It wasn't the cleanest dive, but Team Malaysia did not need it to be. They had already met all the conditions necessary to just brute force their way through to the crystal and through to the next stage of the lower brackets. That does unfortunately mean their opponents. This is going to be the final round, the end of the journey for Team Argentina. Gotta give them props. There's been a lot of growth and improvement here. I gotta give them praise for fighting it out this far.
I think pretty much we saw how great micro division that was done.